I'm going to show you an extension from Scape for Genially that you can add to your Genially presentation to allow students to do the tasks in any order. So it gives the players much more options which way they want to play, and they still get a reward at the end whichever way they play. With some adaptation, this can also be used to create a game where players have to pick up objects and use them on a different slide. To use this extension, you need to download the presentation from the description and reuse the template in your presentation. First, I'm going to show you now what it looks like. So I've added this extension to the standard Genially template. So let's go here. I've shortened it a bit, so there are just 3 activities here, and you can already see it also has a progress bar. So this is part of this extension. So now I can choose which order I want to do these games in. So I could start with find. Let's play this. And I look around, and here's my right answer. And now you can see the progress has gone up, and also this game has disappeared now because I finished it. Let's do another one. Here's the right picture. My progress has gone up, and let's do the quiz as well. And now my progress has gone all the way up. It doesn't look very good here, so it could be improved a bit with the frame maybe at the front. But now that I've completed all the 3 activities, this has appeared. So this is my reward object, so to speak, which now allows me to go to the winning page. Now I'm going to walk you through how to create this presentation. So here is the empty template. So this is just downloaded from the Genially templates, but I've again shortened it a little bit. I've also added the Scape templates, which are these ones, the ones with the blue background, and I've added them by going to add page and then copying them over from the original template, which you can download from our Scape presentation or from the description. So there are 2 different versions of the templates. You can either have the most simple version, which doesn't give you a reward object, so it just means the links to the different games will disappear, and then that is it. The slightly more complex one with a reward object, meaning at the end something will appear on the overview slide that says well done, or it gives them a link to a last page which then gives them the reward or the treasure or whatever. So I'm going to go with this one now to show that. And then the third template is about adding the progress bar, but we can do that afterwards. Okay, so you can see it's color coded here, which helps a bit to find out where you need to add things. For this game, you need to have a home page. The home page in this case is just this beginning page. So ideally there shouldn't be much going on that page. It can just be a title or an introduction to your game, and just a go button to get started. And whenever you review your changes you've made, you always need to start from that page, otherwise the changes won't take effect. And the players obviously also need to start from that page. Then you need what I've called the summary page, which in this case is this page here. So it should be the page which has the links to the different activities, where things will disappear or appear depending on which games have been completed. And this is also a good place then to put the progress bar. So this is our summary page. And then we've got the game pages, which are the other ones here, so where we have our quiz. But we don't need to put this special code on all of them, just on the page that takes you back to the summary page. So normally it's the one that says, well done, you've completed this task. So this is the important bit here. This is our game page. Okay, so let's get started. We need to start with the green box. So we copy everything that's in this green box and take it to our home page. So this is this one here, where nothing much is going on. It doesn't really matter where you put it because it will all be invisible later on. But for now I'll sort this out a little bit so we can see what's going on. So we've got 3 elements here. The yellow is kind of the code going on in the background. The one at the bottom here, which is called advancement, this is the one that will be important for the game to keep track of how much of the whole game has been completed. And it says down here, so when there's 0 elements left, meaning when all the games have been completed, that's when this comes into play. And then up here we've got the variables. These are for our game pages. So we need several of them depending how many games you have. In this case, I've got 3 games. So here, these ones. So I need to create 3 copies of it. So I'll do that. I just copy and paste it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And you need to rename it as well. So the variable here we name like our games. So the games I've got are quiz, find, and image. Make sure that you choose a name that's easy to spell and easy to recognize for yourself. So this just helps you to create it. The students or the players won't see these names. So this is just for you to remember which one goes with which game. Okay, so we've got our 3 games. Now we go back to our template and we need the pink codes and we put them on the summary page. Okay, so now we've got everything on here. Again, we're going to tidy up a bit. Yellow just in the corner. The advancement code here. This is for the so when the reward object will show, and these are for our separate games. And we've got the group buttons here. Let's get rid of group 2, 3. Let's just keep one of them for now. We've got the variables again, and we need to do the same as on the home page. So we just copy and paste them. In this case 3 times because we've got 3 games, and we need to change them to the same names that we had at the beginning. So we had quiz and find and image. So make sure that it's spelled the same way, and it asks you which group they are. So the bottom bit here where it says 0 at the moment. So I need 3 of these group objects as well. So I just copy and paste this again. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so at the moment it says group 2 and X, which isn't quite the right number. So what I need to do is to reload this page. So I save my changes and I reload it. Yes, now it's changed the numbering back. So we've got group 0, group 1 and group 2. So it always starts with 0. Not sure why, but that's the way it is. So we want group 0 is our first activity, and then 1 and 2. And we now need to make sure that the numbers match. So group 0 is the quiz, yes. Group 1 is find. So you need to change the number down here. So this is number 1. And group 2 is image. So in image we need to change it to a 2. So now they're matched up properly. And now I can group these together. So my link and the group name here, we just put them together, group, just draw a box around and group them. Okay, and now I need to add a link to each of them to take me to the different games. Okay, so they're all grouped now and linking to the correct game, and I've got my numbers sorted out here. Now I need to go to the last part of the template, which is this. So I copy this whole lot, or everything from the purple box, and I need to put this on my game pages, but it only needs to be on the last page of each game, the one that takes me back to the summary page. So for the quiz, it's this one here. So my correct page. So we put this in the corner. And again, I need to change the name here, and the name was quiz, because this is the end of the quiz activity. So if you have a lot of different games, then it's probably worth having a list next to you somewhere, so you make sure that you always use the same names. Okay, then we need to do the same with light. Here we go. Need to change it to find. Okay, so I've added these onto all my 3 quizzes and I've changed the names. You can obviously combine different Scape extensions or different Genially games with this extension, because you could have, instead of the quiz, you could have one of the matchup tasks and use a drag and drop Scape extension, as long as the end result basically links to this extension. Because now the important bit is here the little code that's called button. So this is what needs to be linked with whatever objects takes you back to the main page. So this should be something, should be a picture or a button that the players only get to after they have completed the task. So we group this one together here, the next and the button, because this is what will tell the game that to go 1 count up. So it's keeping a tally of which games have been completed, and this will tell it if the player clicks next, then they must have completed the quiz activity correctly. So for example, if you're combining this with a drag and drop Escape extension, and at the end when all the objects have been dropped in the right place, then a next button comes up, which is only visible after the task has been completed, then this button code should be grouped with that next button. Okay, so we need to group this, and it can be grouped straight with the answer, obviously. So like in the find activity here, so that's the one with the torch. Here we just put the button with the correct statement, and the same with the true false with the picture here. So we just chuck the button right in the middle of that big picture and group it. And now the important bit is that we add the links as well. So this should take us back to our summary page. So the button, that's the text that's grouped with the button code, should be the one that takes you back to the summary page. Let's do that. And here as well. Okay, so all of them take us back here, because it will then tell this page that group 1 or game 1, game 2 and so on have been completed, and it disappears. And now we come to reward object. So we want something to appear when all the 3 games have been completed. So in this case, let's say we want just a forward button, which then takes them to the winning page. Obviously it could also be a text which says well done, you've won the game, or a picture of a gold treasure, or whatever you want them to find at the end. So here's another object. So this object is now called advancement, so meaning how far have they got. So we need another group button for this. Like here we've got group 0, 1, 2. So we need group 3. So we go back to our template now. And just grab this from down here. I don't think it makes a difference. I think they are the same, so you could probably use the top one there as well. And we group this with our final object. And we need to make sure that this has the right number. So again, we want to save and refresh the page. We'll refresh this here. Okay, so now it says group 3, which is what we want. So this variable, so we've got quiz, find an image, but this variable is called advancement. I mean, you could change the name if you wanted to, but we need to make sure. So it says group 3. So at the bottom here, group, yes, we want group 3. And also the other number also needs to be 3, because it means after 3 other objects this will appear, because this is our 4th one. So normally the last 3 numbers should be the same and should be how many games you've got So if you've got 3 games, it should say 3 and 3. If you've got 10 games, it should say 10 and 10, and so on, for it to appear at the right time. Now let's also have a look at how to add a progress bar. So for that, we will copy this, and this is linked to the advancement variable. So the advancement variable, remember, is the one that keeps track of the fact if I've completed enough games for the reward button here to appear. But I can also use it to show how far I got. So it both links into the same one. So it will only work if you've got the advanced code on your pages. So if you're going with the simpler template, the one without a reward object, the advancement, the progress bar won't work. So we'll have to do that separately. Okay, so what we've got is we've got this nice colorful bar. You could make up your own one as well. This is just an example one. We need to find this text here. No, we need to find this text here, which has the word mobile in it, because it means this bar is changing. So you want to group this with the colorful bar. Make sure that it's at the front. And also you need to make sure that this text box is exactly the same size as your bar. So we need to make it a bit shorter, a bit wider. It doesn't really matter that we can't read the text, because the text will disappear anyway. Okay, so these two need to be grouped together. There we go. And the frame is really so the players know how much of the progress bar they still need to fill, because at the beginning there won't be any progress, so it will just be empty, so the player won't even know that there is anything going on. So it's good to have that frame, and maybe also write the word progress next to it so they understand what this is about. Let's have this at the front. It might make it look a bit better. I could fit it a little bit better, but I'll leave it like this for now. Okay, remember, in preview, always start from the home page, otherwise you won't see the right thing. So let's start from here. Okay, so now my progress bar is empty. Let's go into a game. And we go here. And yes, it has filled the first bit, so it's filled a third. We need to set this up for our game as well. And namely, we copied over this little text here. And it says maximum value. That means how many different games are there? What's the highest it can go to? So here it's important that again it says 3, because we've got 3 games. Because if I say that there are 6 games, let's try this out, then it should fill less of the bar in. So this number determines how much of the bar is filled each time. Try that. Yes, so because I've put in 6, it's only filled a 1/6 of the bar and not a 1/3 of the bar, which obviously in this case would be wrong. So we want to change it that it's the same number. Okay, so you can see your index ends up looking really messy if you go into edit mode. But all these things need to be on the page for it to work. I mean, you could pile them all on top of each other if you want to. So once you've changed all the names and so on, you could just have it all on top of each other to have a bit more space for the rest of the activity. But make sure the yellow boxes need to be in the page. These codes, they can be just outside the page and it still works. But make sure you've got everything grouped in the right way.